you, Dr. Burns. This is really troubling. I mean, when you think about signature verification, that's so basic. I just have a question about how this works out. From your observation, does each click mean that it was accepted? You're talking about the clicks.
I don't know.
So there could be a click that it's not accepted?
And this was something that I can't answer. I don't really know that.
Well, if it wasn't accepted, do you know what happens to those ballots that were not accepted? Did they go somewhere else that you observed where they would be adjudicated properly?
Well, later on I found out that some of them would go to somebody else and they would follow up on them. But my thinking was there were so many that weren't even close to the signature. How could they possibly follow up on those? So I don't really know where they went, and the clicking was, I didn't know. I tried to look. I tried to see what they were doing, but when I asked questions, I was shut down.
You couldn't tell whether they were clicking accepted or not accepted?
No, there was nothing on the screen to indicate that. It was strictly on the keyboard.
Why have poll observers? I don't understand.
I know. That was my question after the first day, and then after the second day, I was really disturbed.
Thank you.
Senator Borelli.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Dr. Burns, thank you for your service.
Thank you.
My question goes back to the ballots coming out of the mailroom. They were already opened up.
Yes.
So would you suspect that possibility that they were opened up in the mailroom and a ballot was switched out and put in?
I would have no idea on that.
Could you speculate on that?
It would be possible.
Extremely possible?
Yes, it would be possible.
Let me ask you another question. In your teaching profession in all those years, if you caught a student cheating, what would your response be?
Oh. I wouldn't be very happy about it, and they would be in great trouble, and after a phone call home, they probably would fail.
Thank you very much, ma'am. I'm sure we all feel the same way. Thank you.
Dr. Burns, I want to, forgive me, I want to kind of run back at the envelope thing, because apparently Maricopa County runs differently than Pima County, which is where I'm from.
Okay.
So when a Pebble ballot is returned, a permanent early voter list ballot, that's what PEVL stands for. When you return that, it's an envelope inside of an envelope with a ballot on the inside. And what I hear you saying, I just need to be crystal clear on this.
Right.
The tubs that you saw with envelopes were singular envelopes with a ballot in them, all open.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sorry, Senator Allen?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, Ms. Burns. I'm really curious about the low confidence and the high confidence. It's got me really curious. And you're saying that the screen with the low confidence, you couldn't see that the signature matched at all to any of... Okay, so they're looking at one signature and trying to match it to other signatures that are on the page?
Yes.
Am I getting that right?
Yes.
And you could see that from where you were sitting that the signature did not match any of those.
Most of them did not match any of the ones they were trying to match it to. It wasn't, in many cases, not all, it was just a scribble. It was just a flick of the hand.
So ma'am, maybe the low confidence might mean I'm not sure that this matches, but I'm going to pass it off anyway, or something. I don't know. That's kind of what I'm thinking maybe that it means.
Well, that was the impression that I had.
Yeah.
And I think many of them were passed on. And that was my concern and what truly bothered me.
Thank you.
Dr. Burns, just really quick, I know that you probably would like to get out of this chair.
No, that's fine.
When you were watching that, and this is just a real simple response I'm looking for, did you notice any stark differences for example, you said a scribble. Well, what we didn't hear is the signature they were comparing it to. Was it so clear and convincing to you that it's like, this is a signature, this is a chicken scratch?
Right. It was that clear to me
All right.
on many of them.
Thank you very much, ma'am. Oh, just a moment.
Two quick ones.
Two quick ones.
What did you teach?
I was a director of choral activities in music.
I was hoping you taught ethics. Maybe you should now.
And, and as you now know, I didn't teach math.
Well, I don't do math very well either, but I just want to tell you I computed what you said, 4 hours, 8 or 9 tables the first day, 1 per 10 seconds. That'd be about 12,000 ballots that went in that were unobserved. The second day we had 20 people, that'd be 150,000. That's a lot of votes.
It was.
That's way more than the votes that decided this election. Way more. So if this is true, and we have no reason to believe it isn't true, I mean, all these people who are so upset saying that they cheated have to confront the fact that there are numerous American citizens who were sworn under oath that they did cheat. You gave us an affidavit under oath, didn't you?
Yes, sir.
You understand what that means, right?
Yes, I do.
I'm sure you do. Thank you. Thank you very much, and God bless you.
Thank you. Now?
Ma'am?
Oh, one more question.
Okay, looks like we're not going to get out of the question zone
That's
quite
okay.
yet.
That's okay.
Representative Roberts, please.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Thank you, Chairman. Dr. Burns, you said earlier that when you were looking at it and they were saying that it was in yellow and there was low confidence, that you asked about it and they told you that it was a new program that they were testing?
Yes.
And they were testing this new program on live ballots?
This is what I was told.
Did they give you any further explanation on
Nope.
that? Okay.
Nope.
And one other thing, you also mentioned that you had concerns about where you were sitting after you had got up and walked around and you were told not so nicely to sit. That you had concerns about a masking tape issue that kind of went on for the better part of the day, and you asked about that. Did you ever get an answer on that? If there was an issue with that?
I was told not to worry about it
Oh,
by the supervisor.
not to worry about it.
And that's, yes, and that's when I called. I did that very early in the morning. Voting had just started, and this obviously was going to be an issue right from the get-go of voting that day. And it was the first day of early voting, so they had not come across this. People did not want to take off their masks and seal their envelopes. So within the first, 15 to 20 people that came through, I would say at least half of those, if not more, had masking tape put on them because they couldn't seal the envelope. Some tried water on the sticky part, and by the time they put water on it, there wasn't enough on there to seal it. But they just went ahead and put it in the...
Right. When you asked about this, and you were told not to worry about it, who were you speaking with?
The supervisor at the precinct where I was observing.
And that supervisor is a county employee? Is that correct? It's not somebody
I don't think
that...
so.
Because you're there because you're a
Volunteer
volunteer,
basis, right.
and you're going through a partisan process to be a volunteer, correct? And so when you're reporting your concerns, you're talking to somebody that actually works for Maricopa County. They're an employee. It's not
She was a precinct captain, and somebody else might be able to address that
Okay.
more than I can. She was the supervisor that everybody came to if there were questions regarding anything or the machines when people would put in their driver's license. And
Okay.
there were actually a precinct captain and a precinct supervisor there. And those were the people that were in charge as far as I could tell.
Okay, thank you.
Mr. Cook?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Fellow members on the panel, I just want to point out that not only this witness, but most witnesses, this is not a Republican or Democrat issue. Everything that we've talked about is about elections, and every vote counts, every legal vote counting, as we're getting beat up out there on the fake news media cycle here. So all of my questions have been answered except one. First of all, the low confidence signatures that you witnessed, which were just scribbled, no matter what party, who they were voting for,
Yeah.
ran through the machine, clicked on, moved on the system. They were not taken care of. The next thing is one of my colleagues brought up is one of the things I had is that the all ballots were open when you received them. All the ballots were open when they came in there, highly irregular. So I can't imagine anyone saying out there tonight in the news media that we are in here and there is no proof about voter integrity in elections in Maricopa County. It just baffles me. When these people have signed sworn affidavits that are saying under the penalty of perjury, this is what they've witnessed. Nothing to see here, move on. It's just nuts down here in the city. Okay, but here's the question I think that all the members should notice right here. I heard you say in your testimony, now correct me if I'm wrong, you emailed in detail to the correct people these highly irregular things that you witnessed during you volunteering for this position, but I didn't, maybe I missed it, I didn't hear. Did you even get a response?
Yes, I did. And that's, well, let me think. I initially texted, I got a response requesting an email, and then it was at that point, after the election, that I was contacted to complete an affidavit.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Dr. Burns, thank
Yes,
you very
sir.
much, ma'am.
Thank
We
you.
appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Thank you, Doctor.
Thank you, sir.